everybody, and welcome to part 17 of my Final Fantasy Pixel Remastered commentary. This is Loghain F for the Revenants Gaming, and for this part, we're going through the Flying Fortress. And yeah, I'm leaving in the random encounters because, you know, because I realized the parts were getting a little too short. So, and you know, there was stuff I wanted to discuss over the course of the part, so here we go. So yeah, as of recording in the sound for this part, part 11 is slated to go up tomorrow. Actually, yeah, I'm recording this on Thursday, so yeah. Anyway, so it's been quite the process of you know, catching up on lost time. But yeah, this dungeon doesn't really have much to it other than a puzzle that comes later on, and it's also the site of the first super boss. Well, actually, the first and only super boss in the game, and Final Fantasies 2 and 3 don't really have super bosses. And I really did try hard to get footage of the super boss, but, you know, the gods of Final Fantasy were just not in my favor, so, yeah, I'm just traversing the Flying Fortress at this point. So yeah, and you know, as you can see, I do this is the point where I do include in parts me using the supplies, because, you know, again, at this point you could argue, yeah, I'm rushing things, but also, you know, I've made you guys wait. The very few subscribers we have, we've made y'all wait a little too long, so, you know, just gotta keep going. So yeah, this area, it doesn't have much other than a puzzle and a super boss that I don't get to. So, and that super boss is really just, it's, if you're properly leveled and you know the proper buffs for your characters, that super boss is really nothing. It's called the War Mech, but, you know, yeah, you'll just have to take my word for it that it's hyped up a little too much, in my opinion. So, yeah, like, I'll tell you, my second playthrough of Final Fantasy 1, I actually made it through the super boss in one try, and it took me 2 tries for the final boss, which, minor spoiler warning for 3 parts in advance. I don't actually have too much trouble with the final boss. Like, I do it in one go. I mean, I do revive certain characters a few different times, but overall, it's just not a huge. It's not near as big a deal as the first 2 playthroughs I did, where, yeah, the first playthrough I did, I remember I was getting so frustrated that I sent a GIF, and yes, that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, yeah, a GIF of a nuclear explosion to describe my thought process. Oh yeah, and as you can see, yeah, the teleporters, I guess that makes that unique, but all they're doing is replacing stairs, so, yeah. So yeah, not too much to say, but yeah. But yeah, at the rate this is going, at the rate the parts are going, I should be, you know, done with this playthrough by the, every bit of the commentary will be up by the end of December, and then I'll really hit the ground running with Final Fantasy 2, because Final Fantasy 2 is not that long, like this, it's not that long once you know what you're doing. I mean, I will be cutting out a lot of footage because grinding in that game is very interesting, and that's one of the most common complaints about it, actually. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's as you can see, that's another editing hurdle that I had of the lag. So yeah. So, diamond gloves, which I don't really need, so, because, you know, which is something I don't really need, because the warrior, or no, excuse me, the knight, it was a warrior at one time, okay, so, the knight has the diamond gloves, and as I've mentioned, the diamond gloves, the diamond armor set, that's to protect you against electricity, so, yeah, we're pretty covered on that with the knight, so... yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Now, I will say, while I'm not looking forward to doing another playthrough of Final Fantasy II for reasons I'll get into in that part, for reasons I'll get to when we do the playthrough, I am actually kind of looking forward to doing a playthrough of Final Fantasy III, which even though it's still... not one of the better games. It's definitely, in my opinion, the best out of the original three. And it'll provide me a lot more to play around with in the parts, because it introduces the job system, and you know, the jobs are like, you know, they're definitely an important part of certain Final Fantasy games. Although Final Fantasy V really perfects it. Oh yeah, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that's the white robe, which protects us against it protects against fire. I think from what I read, it protects against fire and insta-kill attacks. Yeah, it protects us against fire and insta-kill attacks, kind of like a half damage, I think. So yeah, and here, yeah, we're changing the. We gave the ninja the diamond armlet because because obviously you can't wear the robe, and the white robe is a much better deal for our white wizard, so there's that. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's one thing in the dungeon, yeah, we get to give the best gear possible to our two mages, so I guess that's something, I guess. Oh yeah, also, we got the Adamantite, which will allow us to get the best sword in the game for our knight, and that is quite exciting. So yeah, trying to think of ways to keep the conversation going, because if I go too long without commentary, then we get a copyright claim, which which, I mean, we haven't monetized these videos, so that's not really a big concern for the channel right now, so I don't know. I'll look more into it if our channel grows, like how much because yeah, we're still relatively new to this. The two of us at the Revenants Gaming, even though at this point I'm the only content creator for the channel. Because Carl, he does a good job of helping out with behind the scenes stuff, like making thumbnails, helping out with tags occasionally. So yeah, as you can see, I'm at this point I'm just so done that I just had to, so that I didn't see a reason to edit out me using the ethers. It's like, because I'm showing all the random encounters, so it's just I just saw no real reason to just cut out the ether usage, even though I feel like y'all would have been able to piece together like how I was doing the ethers, how I just kept using spell after spell for when there were limits to the spells. I feel like y'all could have picked up on that, but again, I just want to get this done. I've made y'all wait a little too long for this, so yeah. So yeah, I'll tell you, I'm hoping, if I do estimates, if I keep up a good pace, I feel like if I keep up a good enough pace, I feel like I could probably have Final Fantasies 2 and 3 done by, I don't know, the first third of next year, good old 2026. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how it goes. I have high hopes, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Final Fantasy IV, although that's the point where the games become much more story based. And oh lord, I missed a cut out of the map. But anyway, so yeah. Although I will say, in the event that I get to the 3D Final Fantasies, those are going to take a little longer to record, and because with those games, the cutscenes are much longer, and right now we're under time constraints. I think it's 15 to 25 minutes, which, yeah, this video is going to be 18 and a half minutes, so yeah. But, you know, it's one of those, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I know that's kind of a cop-out, but we try. So, anyway. So, yeah. Yeah, so I'm just telling, the next parts are, you know, we're just getting the next parts, we're not going to be diddling around much. We're just getting straight to the point. After this, you know, we'll just be on the absolute downhill slope. We'll be on the downhill slope, basically. We're getting really close to being done. After this, there will only be 3 more parts, and which I'm happy about because, you know, this has been the first commentary I've ever recorded, so I am definitely excited that soon it will be over and done with, and I can move on to another game because, you know, I think this game's all right, but you know, it's just like you gotta move on. So yeah, I had kind of hoped for the ability that I would be able to do content on Halloween for maybe, you know, for like a horror themed type thing. So oh yeah, Sasuke's Blade or whatever. I was having trouble reading that. That's right now that's the best weapon for our ninja. So, oh yeah, finally had something else to talk about. So, anyway, so yeah, as we go forward, yeah. So I was kind of hoping because there at the time of recording, I think earlier in before I started recording again, Before I started recording again, Steam actually had a sale for horror games. I think it was in October. And one set of horror games I really wanted to get into for a while were actually the Alone in the Dark games, even though I'm well aware that the 2008 reboot is widely considered to be one of the worst games of the 7th generation of gaming. For reasons that I may one day get into, but we'll see. Alright, so here we go. Yeah, I had to cut out a lot of footage because I just diddled around. This is a puzzle, basically, where, like this part, what you're seeing right here, this is going to be a puzzle for traversing this area, because if you just go in one direction, you're just going to end up just looping around. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I just gotta heal up the characters because I'm at a point I have enough ethers to where I can just use the white mage spells, or the white wizard spells, excuse me. So yeah, anyway, the trick here, oh yeah, so yeah, I kind of got a little lost in my explanation. So yeah, you see as you'll see, you just go through different. So yeah, as you can see, you have to go through things in a very specific order, which I kind of got lost in my commentary for a bit. I'll put in the description the order you have to go in the pathways. Even though you could just look it up online, it's like you're already on the video. I'll just showcase that in the description, or maybe showcase isn't the right word, but whatever. So alright, so here we go. We're gonna fight against the Fiend of Air, the leader of the 4 fiends, Queen Tiamat, which is she has no weaknesses. All right. So as you can see, she's not happy about us beating Lich, Merilith, and the Kraken, her 3 fellow fiends. So we're gonna go up against Queen Tiamat, who is the toughest of the fiends, but at this point, if you dex outright, this shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, as you can see, I'm buffing up the warrior and the ninja with tempering haste. Basically the same strategy I used when I fought the Kraken. Yeah, and also with one distinct difference. Because Tiamat has access to, theoretically, it has access to all the elemental spells, I think. I decided that I was going to use the white wizard to, you know, cast Null All, which has the damage from all elemental spells, onto all the characters I could at that given time. Yeah, unfortunately, Null All only work. You can only cast it on one person at a time, one person per turn. So it's not like the other Null spells where it just covers the whole party. Unfortunately. All right. So, yeah. The strategy for this fight really isn't much different from the second, third, and fourth fiends. Like, I'm just focusing on buffing up. It's great. The strategy is functionally no different at all from in mechanics to the second fiend, you know, Merilith, because Merilith didn't have weaknesses either, and so yeah. All right. So yeah, and at this point now we're just focusing on healing. And yeah. And you know, buffing up with haste, as you'll see, and that'll just allow us to shred through Tiamat faster. And let's see, and at this point in the fight, now Carl the Black Wizard will be able to go on the offense. Although there is only one spell that Carl has that will actually be useful here, and that is Flare, because the damage it does is non-elemental. Theoretically, I could have used Holy here, but I didn't want to take chances. I just wanted to have Sarah, the White Wizard. I just wanted to have her primarily focus on just healing and buffing up the party defensively, whereas Carl spends most of the fight buffing up things offensively. It's a good balance. I think it's a good balance team what we had here. Personally, I prefer, instead of a ninja going or the thief going with, you know, I prefer going with the monk. Like I did that in my second playthrough. But oh yeah, and as you can see, Tiamat is beaten, so we will now be able to traverse further in the game. And we also powered up the wind crystal. So yeah. As always, I thank you all for watching. This is I'll see y'all in the next few parts. This is Loghain F. Thank you for watching the Revenants Gaming. See you next part.